Yan, hello, hello teachers. Magandang hapon, Teacher Pao. Magandang hapon. Na-miss
Good
kita,
afternoon, Sir Franco.
Teacher Pao. Teachers, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat and welcome to our Thursday, no? Thursday session. Kaya, ano to, no? Regular naman na to sa ating mga teachers, lalo na sa ating mga
Yep.
avid viewers, no? And for this afternoon, we have a very, very special session. Pero gusto ko munang kumustahin, Teacher Pao, kumusta ka na? Balita ko ay nalulunod ka daw sa documents ngayon. And I
Hindi ka
think all our teachers can
nagkakamali.
relate. Oo. Ano ba yan? Ano ba yung
Totoo.
pinagkakaabalahan mo ngayon?
Medyo busy ako mag-format ng mga papel, alam mo yun.
Yes,
Kasi
no?
meron akong siguro kung meron akong gusto talagang gawin, gusto ko lang mag-format. Wag mo na akong pag-isipin ng mga words na isusulat. Pero okay ako mag-word, mag-format ako ng mga margins, ganyan.
Yes, no,
Gustong-gusto
totoo.
natin yan.
At alam
Yan.
natin ano yan, no? Speak of which, alam natin babad talaga ang mga teachers natin sa ano, no, sa mga documents. At precisely, yung what our session for today, no, will be about that, okay? How we can reduce those documents with by ano, no, by using tools, okay? At the same time, collecting information, no, engaging our students into formative assessments that work. And we don't want, no, kasi di ba, Teacher Pao, pag nagbigay ka ng mga formative assessments, sobrang dami, it
Yes.
could pile up, no, into like paperworks and documents that you'll have to check. But what if
Yes.
there are tools that can easily engage, no, your students, okay? And you can also easily assess your students, okay? Either actually summatively or formatively, you can use these tools. No? But before we go to that, no, I know we're all excited kasi ako rin excited. Both for
Yes.
these tools are really, powerful tools. No? But let's first greet our teachers from our chat box, okay?
Yep.
I'll start, Teacher Pao.
Work.
Teacher Edward K. Awas, good afternoon. Teacher Altman Gabardo, Teacher Lorraine Golyado Aguilian, Teacher Violeta Racho, Teacher Kisel Grace de los Santos, Teacher Aileen Medina, Teacher Cheche Pajarito, Sister Sandra Javier, Teacher Alma, okay? Siyempre Alma yung nakalagay, no? Teacher Alma, Teacher Germy Padua, Teacher Cheryl Mabini, Teacher Maria Ana Fe Sumalinog, always here. Thank you so much, Teacher Ana. Teacher Richard Rosilio, si Teacher Franco Nicolo Piado, nandito rin lagi yan, hindi nawawala
Yan,
yan. Okay?
parate, hindi
Oo,
mawawala.
avid viewer din yan eh. Oo. Mary Joyce Condino, Teacher Marisa Gumabong, Teacher Elmar Moralde, congratulations, nanalo kagabi yan, si Teacher Elmar Moralde ng Ed
Nice.
Puzzle, swag
Red
bag. By the
puzzle.
way,
Nice.
meron din po kaming surprise for you today, teachers, no? One of our tools for day and our speaker na will be giving away a 50% discount to the
Wow.
premium access to the tool. Okay, so something to
Oh,
look
wow.
forward to. Okay? Ginamit ko na kagad yung code. Kinauna na yun.
Ang tara.
And of course, Teacher Desa Lara, Teacher Doris Ibuna, Teacher Arnold Lacunsay, Teacher Christine Je, Teacher Karel, no? Caroline, and Teacher Pepito Liwanag. I'll end with that. Teacher Pao,
Alright.
nahabol mo ba? Siyempre,
Yes, of
binigay ko sa
course.
iyo yung madaling...
Oo. Feeling ko nga sinadya mo. Alright, so good afternoon. From Malaysia, Teacher Gui Hui Kiang Mo. And then Teacher Reyes, Teacher Dolly Ann Reyes, Teacher Rhea from SDO Valenzuela, Teacher Corazon from Thailand. This time Thailand, o diba? International talaga. Kay Teacher Leila Sevilla, Teacher Christine Grace Casilan, good afternoon po. Teacher Rosalind Bantay, Teacher Hurley May Romblon, Teacher Williana Bato from Benguet. From north to south tayo, Zamboanga City, Teacher Conilin Baclaocos, Teacher Arnold Laconsay, Teacher Ellie Austria, Miss Marilyn Butaslak, Teacher Jessie Rain Mena, Teacher Annalisa Pascua, Teacher Alrazed Kawanan, Teacher Manolita White, always here with us. Ayan, mahabol natin to. Teacher Edna Despi, Teacher Rodeliza Tiotanco, Teacher Veronica May Buenaflor, ayun na, Miss Nale, ito na. Lumipad eh. Teacher Joseph Odelon Hermitanyo, Miss Ana Seniza Bongabong, I think she's always here, and Miss Raquel Manawis. Ayan. Ang dami. Ang daming nanonood. Dumadagdag pa yung chat. Lumilipad na, no?
Yes, we'll greet you
Dalawa
again,
na.
teachers, later, no? Good afternoon to the rest of our teachers in the chat, okay? We have no viewers, okay, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, and of course, no, to the entire Philippines, okay? We
Yes.
are well represented, okay? And of course, okay, we will not disappoint you, okay? This is a session you should never miss, okay? This is a session, okay, that will definitely, alter on how we make or give formative assessments. Okay, so Teacher Pau, why not let's now get into our first session so that we'll have more
Yes.
time, okay, to engage with our speaker. And I'm also very excited, okay, because uh, our speaker for today, for our first session is actually one of the leads no sa pag-develop or the development of the tool that he's going to discuss. Okay, so let's welcome to our stream, okay, our first speaker, okay, for this session, okay. Sir Cameron, Ziplet's head of product, has spent much of his career working in education, primarily as a designer, a teacher, and a digital strategist. His early experiences leading vocational programs and IT adoption while teaching in K-12 institutions gave Cameron a unique insight into supporting both teachers, students to learn and grow with technologies. Since he has been instrumental in the delivery of Australia's largest online game-based language learning program, the delivery of digital products for supporting skill development and behavior change in adult learners, and a university-accredited workforce credentialing system with several market-leading and award-winning products and educational programs in his stable. Cameron's experience and passion for helping people through creative and human-centered solutions continue to inform his ongoing focus on systems and habits for teaching and learning. So without further, let's
Correct.
welcome into our stream Sir Cameron Hadkinson.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for such a warm welcome.
Welcome
Hello.
to the Philippines, Sir Cam, okay, and we're excited for your session. Okay, but before we proceed with your session, Sir Cam, no, we'd like first to ask for an overview. What are we going to talk about, and how are we going to proceed with your session for today?
Sure. So I thought, given that our focus today is formative assessment, something that's very close to my heart as a teacher and an educator, I thought it'd be worth talking a little bit about Ziplet and who we are as a company and why we exist, and then I'll jump into the platform itself and show you how easy it is to get up and running with some quick formative assessment strategies. But also, hopefully, I can get some responses from the audience and demonstrate how quick and easy it is for students to jump onto the platform as well.
Yes, of course. No,
Sure.
if there are any links, Sir Cam, no, just let us know and send it into us in the private chat, and we'll put that in the chat for our teachers to engage with you. Okay, so Sir Cam, good luck. Teachers, enjoy the session. Okay, we'll be in the chat if you need anything. I will be engaging you in the chat, and don't forget that the evaluation link for this session will be given at the end of our session. Okay, so Sir Cam, will give you the floor now.
Perfect. Thank you. Let me just get my share happening. Okay. Hopefully that's all visible to you guys. So look, let me start by talking a bit about Ziplet and why I'm so passionate about them as a company. As you heard, I've been in education for quite some time. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's been about 20 years since I started in the classroom, and it's been quite a journey. And I recently joined Ziplet as head of product, and really the thing that we're super passionate about is student feedback, and really it's about trying to amplify student voice and hear how they're going, how they're progressing, how they're feeling about their learning, and feed that back to teachers so that teachers like yourselves can then make changes to really understand and maximize what they're doing. We've been working across the globe for a number of years as a company in this feedback space. We have a pretty big presence in the US, here in Australia, and through Southeast Asia as well, and a little bit in Europe, and that's starting to grow. But really, what we see a lot of is this culture of feedback, and it's a really exciting global phenomena that's been growing, for a long time, but particularly the last 5 to 10 years. And the idea of formative assessment and checking in on how students understand and are progressing with their learning, is a really central part of that idea of feedback. Ziplet as a platform itself was initially started about 5 or 6 years ago. Our CEO, Ben, and some colleagues had seen a need for helping to gather data from that student feedback and present it in a way that wasn't so time consuming, and didn't require lots of pieces of paper or post-it notes, and didn't need you to put all of that into a spreadsheet to try and make sense of it. So they started the journey back then in trying to build a platform that helped educators to collect that feedback and make sense of it. And where we've evolved to now is a platform that really does as much as possible from a visualization standpoint and collecting feedback standpoint, but does it as quickly as possible as well. And one of our core beliefs, and I'm sure you would all agree, is that teachers never have anywhere near enough time to do anything. So we have been working, myself and our design and development team, to make life as simple and quick and easy as possible for teachers and students, so that that feedback is really timely. Some of the various applications that we get used for, and I would argue that formative assessment is probably one of the greatest uses of Ziplet globally, and that falls into that exit ticket space. We see a lot of teachers quickly throwing out exit tickets, entry tickets, and trying to understand prior learning and prior knowledge to quickly make changes to their teaching practice. For teachers, Ziplet really offers a couple of key benefits, we think. It's helping to uncover what students understand and what they know, and how they've how well they've grasped a particular lesson. It also helps you to dig into the students' well-being and understand how they're feeling. Maybe how they felt after a particular lesson, or about upcoming exams, or just generally about school. And it also encourages this idea of student reflection. That continuous thinking about learning from a student's perspective, and then reflecting on that as a teacher, and changing practice to accommodate, is, we find, one of the most powerful teaching tools. And a lot of the research, particularly the work that John Hattie and Helen Timpley have done into feedback and this idea of formative assessment, really demonstrates just how powerful and how efficient it can be at shaping learning and really contributing to academic success. We also find for students that the idea of providing feedback, and that process of providing feedback to their students and feeling like they're being heard, has a huge benefit to how involved they feel and how much they feel they own their learning journey. It really allows every student to have a voice, and one thing that we're particularly focused on is trying to help all of those shy students, or the students that don't often put their hand up to answer a question, or aren't involved in class. How do we help them to have a voice as well, and to feedback how they're going? We've also offered out some really easy to use web and mobile apps. And even this morning, I was speaking to a teacher in the US, in North Carolina, and he said, he's astounded at the mix of devices that his students jump onto Ziplet with. Some of them will be on laptops, some are on their phones, others are on a Chromebook or a tablet. And if one of the computers runs out of battery, because they quite frequently forget their chargers, they'll just quickly log in on a phone or something else and respond. Again, it also, for students, encourages this idea of regular reflection, thinking back on what's happened, what went well, what maybe didn't go so well, and what changes they can make in the future to move forward and progress. In practice, we're used for a variety of different purposes, particularly in that feedback space. As I've said, and you'd be aware, formative assessment does form a really big part of that. Exit tickets, entry tickets are huge, but we also get used for helping to understand prior knowledge. What does a student already know about a particular topic, and what misconceptions might they have, or what advanced skills do they already possess? What mindset and motivation do they have? How are they approaching their learning? As well as how they're going socially and emotionally, and what sort of wellbeing issues might exist in class. And it's a really powerful tool, and we get a lot of feedback from teachers like yourselves at how flexible it is, and what we've tried to create. And when I jump into the platform, you'll see is the ability to take Ziplet in these different directions. So with entrance and exit tickets, quickly throwing out a question that students can answer from any device, that gives you the information that maybe you can use to then tailor your next lesson, or to start the lesson off or a topic off, and say, well, this is how we're going to be progressing today. We also see a lot of use in student wellbeing, checking in on how students are feeling and progressing, and making sure that that's done in a safe and secure way. We do have the ability for anonymous responses, and some students have really expressed some comfort that gives them in being able to talk freely with their teachers without the pressure of the rest of the class being involved. We do notice this process of formative assessment, this process of asking questions and getting feedback and changing lessons and that cycle does really help to strengthen and build relationships with students. And we quite often suggest that when you're starting out with Ziplet, some of the best questions to ask actually have nothing to do with school or with the topic that you're teaching at the time. It could be personal questions. What fun thing did you do on the weekend? What's your favorite style of music? Or what's something that you're planning to do next month that you haven't done before? These sorts of things help you to cultivate and generate a really good fluid relationship, that when you do start to ask questions about the curriculum, they're honest and open and can provide some really great answers and great feedback. We also do support and see a lot of student reflection as a part of what we're doing, and I know that people like John Hattie and Helen Timpley and Marzano have also talked a lot about how metacognition and this idea of helping students to think about the way that they learn and think about their learning and reflect on that is a really powerful tool for helping them to own that learning journey. And feedback does really tie into that process of reflection. And one final really interesting way of using Ziplet is for topic starters. To ask what they already know about a particular topic to generate some ideas around and understanding around prior knowledge, or to ask what questions they have about a topic, so that you can use those student interests to guide where the lesson goes and guide that discovery together. It's a really powerful tool, and Ziplet itself you can share on a projector or share on a screen quite easily, so that as the answers come in, and they might be anonymous or not, you can then talk to the class about them. So how does Ziplet work? Well, to demonstrate, what I'd like each of you to do is to navigate to ziplet.com/go and to enter the PIN number that's on the screen at the moment, 170501. You'll find 2 questions there that I'd love for you to respond to. And this will give you a sense of how students use Ziplet. We do like to use it quite a lot internally, and in fact, our CEO does exactly what I'm doing now to us every quarter. As a company, we get together and talk about how we're progressing and the work that we're doing, and we quite often use Ziplet to respond to questions about the quarter and about the work that we've done to then interrogate that. So while you're quickly responding to a couple of those questions, I might just give you 30 seconds to a minute just to jump onto ziplet.com/go and to answer those questions, and then we'll jump into the platform itself. Fantastic. I can already see a lot of responses coming through. Thank you. It's amazing as a presenter, but also as a teacher, when the instant nature of gathering feedback these days. When I started teaching, we didn't have tools like this, and quite often it was a really long and time-consuming process to get a sense of where students were at, collect that feedback back. But now, with something as simple as Ziplet, I can already see those responses flowing through. So getting started with Ziplet is really simple. What you would have just seen and experienced with our ziplet.com/go is the student experience, or one of the student experiences. You'll notice that it's really clean and quick and easy to simply respond to questions. As a teacher, you have a little bit more flexibility and control over what you do. And I'm going to step through each of these in the platform in a moment. But at a high level, what I wanted to talk about is a couple of key concepts. So in Ziplet, everything is built around the idea of a class. And the class is really just a place for you to invite your students and ask your questions of that particular group of students. You can create multiple classes for each class that you create, that you teach, or you might choose to use classes for subgroups so that you can ask questions about a particular topic. It's really up to you. But there's 2 types of classes. The first is Go, and Go classes we have made the simplest, fastest possible way to gather feedback. They don't require students to log in, and no student accounts are required. What you've just responded to is a Go class. So students simply enter a PIN, go and enter their name and respond to questions, and then you've got that feedback instantly in the dashboard. We do have a more comprehensive class called a classic class. For those classes, students do require a login, so they can sign in with email or password, or they can sign up with Microsoft or Google. And the benefit of the classic class is that you have instant messaging and chat off the back of the responses that the students send, as well as some additional analytics features and data features. So, if you're looking for quick feedback, Go is a great place to start. And if you're looking at building ongoing communication and relationships with your students, then Classic's probably the place to go. You can ask a question in under 30 seconds. We have a broad variety of template questions that you can use, and I'll dive into those in a moment. But really, they're grouped together in common topics like exit tickets, student wellbeing, end of year questions, and the like. With those question type, when you're creating a question, you have a variety of response types that you can choose, from emojis or reaction responses through to scales, multiple choice, or just open text. And you can use combinations of those as well. So it gives you some flexibility on the type of information you collect back from students. And when you get to reviewing responses, they're usually in a combination of both qualitative data and quantitative data. So if you're using, say, a reaction that you can see here on screen with an emoji, or a scale, 1 to 7 scale, then it'll be represented as a chart. Or if you're collecting text responses, then you'll have a word cloud and each of the individual student responses below. With the classic classes, as I was saying, you can reply directly to students. So from each of those responses you collect in, you have an instant message button, and you can reply out to students, follow up on their feedback. You know, maybe you've noticed that they're a little, they've got some misunderstanding about a particular topic, or they're a little unsure about what to do next. You can follow up with some instant chat messages. And in the Plus version, so our paid version, you can do those replies out to groups of students. So one of the additional features is to be able to select up to 20 students and reply to them in one group. And it's particularly handy for differentiated teaching, or identifying students that have similar challenges. One of the key things that we try and encourage, and I would encourage each of you to do, is after you've collected feedback from students, ask another question, make a change to your teaching practice, try an adjustment, and then ask a follow-up question. And you know, one of the things that always resonated with me about the research in this space that Hattie and Timpley had done is this idea of evaluating the effect that we have on learning, and particularly evaluating the effect of the methods and strategies that we're choosing to implement, rather than trying to focus on just implementing the strategy. Well, how well did that work, and was it right for my students, or should I try something different? Before we jump into the platform, one last slide. So some of the key things that we try to do and are really keen to see as differentiators for Ziplet is making sure that we're really quick and easy to use, that we provide a really big question library so that we save you time by crafting really good, well-researched questions, that you have the option to control anonymity. If you're not comfortable allowing your students to respond anonymously, you can turn that off. If you do have students that would be more comfortable responding anonymously, then you can suggest that they do that. All of your data is collected in one place, and you know, we really want to be the replacement for Google Sheets in this respect. There's nothing more time-consuming and frustrating than piping data into a spreadsheet. And we're something that students love. You know, over time we've noticed that students really enjoy replying and having that open dialogue about their learning and about what's happening in the classroom. So let me exit out of my presentation and jump across into the platform itself. While I'm doing that, is there any questions that have been posted in the chat, or that we have immediately popping up?
Sir Cam, so far none. Our teachers are still exploring. They have signed up already. They have registered to Ziplet already. I gave them the link earlier, so they're setting up their teacher accounts. Okay. But so far there are none. There are some others who have said they have used Ziplet already, and they're one of the comments here is that I experienced using the Ziplet app already, and it really is a great help in evaluating or assessing students' learning. So far so good. No questions yet.
Lovely to hear. Okay, so let me jump in to Ziplet and give you a bit of a tour. I'll try and cover off some of the main features while I'm here, and talk to you a little bit about you know, some of the tips and tricks. So to get started, obviously, Ziplet.com and sign up. Once you're in, you'll notice I've got a couple of classes set up here already, but the main idea here is to either import a class, which you can do from Google Classroom. We're currently working on a Microsoft Education integration, so you'll be able to import classes from Microsoft as well. That should be coming by the end of the year, but for now, Google Classroom import is super handy, and it invites all of your students in straight away, so it's nice and quick. If you want to create your own class off the bat, as I said, you can choose between Go, which doesn't require any student accounts or login. It's simply the access pin, or Classic, which has those additional messaging features and class announcements. Once you've chosen your class type, simply type in a class name, choose an image, probably a better one than my my headshot, and then hit create. I might just create a new one. Test class, just to give you a sense of how that looks. I'll choose a different image. I see enough of my face all the time. And I have a new class ready. A couple of quick features on your class. This is a classic class. All of my class details are located here with the class code, and that's really the way that students join your classes. With a classic class, they sign up to Ziplet, and they join your class with your class code. For a Go class, you simply share your Go pin and direct them to ziplet.com/go. And it's as simple as that. And if you want to display these on a projector while the students are doing it without any of the other distractions, you can just enter those full screen. The class announcements button here on a classic class is a really handy way of broadcasting announcements out to your class, maybe reminders about your homework. Please have your homework ready by lunch. And that'll post out to all students in the class. But the main attraction for Ziplet really is asking questions. So once you have a class set up, you can hit ask question, and from here you can type in a question and craft your own, or you can choose from our question library. All of these, I'm currently working on the free account, and it's worth mentioning that Ziplet has two tiers. We have a free option, which includes up to three classes and 50 students in each class, and a range of features. And then we have Ziplet Plus, which is a paid subscription, either monthly or yearly, which we do have a promotion code for everyone in attendance that gives you 50% off that. That includes unlimited classes, unlimited students, and access to the entire question library and a range of other additional features as well. So you'll notice down here there's a few categories that are locked that I can't choose from. But I might just choose for now an exit ticket. Look, how well did you understand today's lesson is a bit of an old favorite. It's a quick, easy way of just getting a sense of how students felt and went with the class that's just gone. Hitting next, this one, because it's a template question, already has my response types selected, which is a scale, so from 1 to 7, and a text field. I'm not going to change those, but if I really wanted to, I could switch that up and maybe do an emoji reflection instead. I'll leave that there. And you can see here a preview of how that question will look for students. How well did you understand today's lesson? Scale of 1 to 7, enter your response. A couple of additional features here that are worth noting. The first is that you can allow students to respond anonymously. This just gives them the option to select anonymous or not, which hides their name from you. In a classic class, even when they respond anonymously, you can message them back and forwards, and you might not know who that particular student is, or their, their name, or who they are, but you can still follow up with some direct feedback and messaging, which is quite a powerful tool. And the second option here is whether you would like to ask the question immediately or whether you want to schedule it for a time in the future. And scheduling simply parks that question until your chosen date and time, and then sends out a notification to all students in your class. This is only available on Classic classes. Because Go classes, the students don't have an account, we can't send notifications, but for Classic, we notify and follow up students, and as much as we can, we try and remind them to provide feedback as much as possible. Hitting Ask Now then adds my question into my test class, and that's sitting there ready and waiting for students to respond. All I'd need to do is invite them in. So what I might do is to give you a sense of how that looks once students have responded. I'm going to jump into our teacher support class that I created earlier, which all of you have responded to today. And you'll notice here on the front, I've got 2 questions that I asked, 2 live questions, and I've received 90 responses. Wow, that's in a matter of 10 minutes. That's fantastic. Thank you for everyone for getting involved. But it's super exciting to see those flow through as well, and particularly well, exciting and maybe a little noisy if you're using the mobile app, because you'll get the notifications going off when you get new responses coming in. So look, let's dive in and have a look at how some of these responses, look. So one subject that you teach, you can see here that we've got the top 10 collected in a word cloud. We've got quite a few maths teachers. There's 7 of those, 11 science, 4 English, another 5 maths. So actually maths is probably the highest so far. There we go. I can also view that as a list that shows you, the most to least out of that top 10, and I can scroll down and see each of the individual responses, which is quite handy when you're diving in and actually reviewing how individual students have gone. Personally, I find the charts really helpful for making those kind of quick decisions either in class, so if I send out one of these at the start of a class, I can quickly gauge how students are going or what they already know, so that I can tailor the class. But also at the end of the class, it's a quick follow-up. And in fact, that same teacher I was speaking to this morning, he was talking about using this word cloud. He had been talking about the American Civil War with his Year 10 students this morning, asked them a question, and then put the word cloud up on the screen so that as a group they could talk about some of the main themes that had come through in their responses, which was quite a powerful way of kickstarting what they already knew about the topic. How are you feeling about formative assessment? Oh, it's definitely a happier group, but really interesting to see a little bit of a spread. None that are unhappy, but a few probably unsure, and quite rightly so. Formative assessment is a really it's a very powerful but challenging tool to use in the classroom, and particularly challenging to find the time to always do it. And I think personally, the more frequently you can do formative assessment, the more powerful it is. But obviously, finding the time to constantly do it is really challenging. But great to see the spread, and that we have so many people feeling really, really good about formative assessment. And we can see here, some really nice responses that have come back in text as well, and pairing a reaction response type with text, or maybe a scale with text, is a really great way of capturing some good data that you can then show back to students and talk about without revealing anyone's responses in particular. So they're two really quite interesting and powerful ways of showing data. I might jump into a couple of quick features that's worth highlighting as well. You also have an inbox, so any students that you're connected with through your classic classes, you can then instant message. So you can see here, I've already posted an announcement out to my test class, but I could also send an instant message to any students who happen to be in one of my other classes, and it's a great way of having having those ongoing chats and communication with students about their learning. One of the other powerful things that you can do with classes, if I jump into manage members, is that you can invite other teachers to your class. So if you happen to be peer teaching or co-teaching a particular subject, you can both be in the same class, asking questions and reviewing the data simultaneously. On our free tier, you can have up to 2 teachers per class, but on the Plus, Ziplet Plus, you can have up to 5. So you get a little bit of an extension, and it's quite good when you've got a professional learning community, or maybe some department heads or a few teachers that you work with quite closely and get feedback from, maybe a mentor. You can invite them into your class and then connect in that way. One final thing I might talk briefly about is favorites. And you'll notice that when I ask a new question, I have a range of templates here that I can choose from, and all of those templates are designed by the Ziplet team alongside some education professionals that we work with both in the US and here in Australia. But what you can also do is favorite questions, and that adds them to that question pool. So if I jump into my class today, I can favorite this what's one subject you teach question. And now whenever I ask a new question, I should have a favorites category. Sorry, just refreshing. It has made a fool of me. I'm very sorry, people. Ordinarily, we would have a favorites section under your ask questions. I'll need to check in with the dev team. They may have turned it off for testing purposes, but those favorite questions, I find it really saves time and effort. So once you've set a question up, you can then ask that question quite quickly in multiple classes. And you can do the same for responses. If you find some particularly good responses from students, you can favorite those and keep them as a reference for later. So that's kind of an overview of Ziplet and how to get started. If you're interested in trying Ziplet Plus, there's some really great features, including the sending the same message out to multiple students, being able to export your data out to spreadsheet, the full comprehensive question library, and unlimited classes and students. We do offer a 30-day trial, 30-day free trial, as well as the discount that the 50% discount code that we've got on offer tonight as well. So feel free to jump in and give it a shot. We're really excited about what the product can offer in terms of formative assessment, and we think it's a really quick, easy, and very powerful tool for gathering that feedback and then being able to reflect on your teaching practice and adjust that moving forward. Are there any questions or any desired things that you want me to go through while I've been talking?
Actually, you've covered, I think, the fundamentals and the basics of Ziplet, and I think our teachers have a good idea about how to use and where to use Ziplet, especially in the context of formative assessments. Okay, and again, teachers, please be reminded on our on the discount code. Okay, so we have a discount code from Ziplet if you would like to try their pro account. I think that's the plus Ziplet Plus, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Cam, no.
correct. Yeah.
So just use the code Kaagapay. We're very personalized. Okay? We're using 50% on that one. You just use code Kaagapay. Okay. And the first question here, Cam, no, would be on how many responses are under the free category?
Good question. At the moment, we don't limit responses, so we only have a cap on the number of classes that you can maintain and the number of students within those classes. But if your students are super excited about responding to questions, as many as they can muster.
Thank you. There's other question would be
Yeah.
from teacher Christina
Yes.
Munar. Will you be able to save the responses of the students?
Yes. So the responses are saved saved permanently, and they're part of your account. They travel with you with your account. If you want to find them easily, you can then favorite those responses, and they'll get added to your favorites. And you can also export that data. If you're on Ziplet Plus, you can export the data out to a spreadsheet to store it long term. But as long as you have a Ziplet account, your responses will all stay there.
Okay. Thank you for that. I have a personal question with regards to students access. Okay. If I create a class, if I do not like pass through Google Classroom integration, or later on, we're also equally excited for that, the Microsoft Teams integration. Do the students need a Ziplet account, or they can be enlisted via email?
Just via email and password. Actually, that's a very good question. So you can invite students via email. In that manage members section where I was going to invite a teacher, that's via email, and you can also invite students there too. So you can just add all of their emails in and send an invite out to them. But we find the easiest way to invite students to the platform is simply to share your class code. And then when the students sign up with their email and they create an account with their email and password, they just use that to join your class.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, Cam. Although sometimes the code sometimes could be like, I don't know, shared with other people and enter the class. That's also a danger for sharing the code. Okay. So that's why I asked email, because sometimes the email provides a more secured invitation to our students. Okay. But
Yes.
don't worry, most of teachers here or educators are using either Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom for their online classes. So integration is right there already. Okay.
Yeah.
Teacher Pao, do you have a question?
Yeah, there's one question just popped up in our chat box. Is Ziplet available offline? Do we have
Currently, no. We require online because we synchronize all of the data. So we do the web app is online only, accessed via the browser. The mobile apps, because you're installing them on your phone or tablet, they are available to some extent offline, but they won't do anything because they need to be connected to the internet. So, but the data, the amount of data that they use is very small, so it wouldn't take much to be using on a phone or a tablet.
Yeah, I think that's a
That's a
better
concern.
extra. Yes, that's another question. Actually, I'm going to ask about the bandwidth use, okay? Because if it's online and there's no offline modality, then the bandwidth use will be a concern. And as just to give context, because of the infrastructure in the Philippines, still does not support very high speed internet connection. So our teachers, okay, would like to use these wonderful tools, but always connection is always getting into their way in exploring these sources. Okay. I have another question here from Sir Weng Carvalho. I tried to create a class with a live question. Why does the pin not working? Pin not recognized.
Oh, that's unusual. Is that in I'm assuming that might be in a Go on Ziplet ziplet.com/go. It may be that the code is for a classic class, in which case you would need to sign up and join. In creating the classes for ping use on Go, they need to be a Go class.
All right. Cam, there's a question here again that just popped up. Can we also add time limit to a specific question? I mean, an automatic timer, so such that it moves from one
That's a
question to
fantastic
another.
question, actually. So we do have some work happening at the moment for timed questions. So you can set when you open the question and when you close the question. And we're also working on the ability to repeat questions. So you'll be able to open the question and make that live, close at a particular time, and then repeat it each week, for example. So it might be, how are you going this week, or what did you do on the weekend, and it gets sent out every Monday as a fun week starter.
You're on
Again,
mute.
personal question,
Yes.
Sir Cam. Okay. Is it also possible to use QR code to access a particular Go activity or a classic activity? Because I think in terms of like interaction, responding to or getting into a question or to a Ziplet activity via QR code will be faster. Is that possible or available now?
At the moment, it's not. It is on the product roadmap, so it's something that we're working on, and that's direct links into a specific question and also into the class. So sharing those QR codes will make it a lot easier, I think.
Yes, okay, indeed. No. Thank you so much, Sir Cam, okay, for your time, no, and of course, no, your generosity to share about Ziplet. This is something definitely. I have one last question though. Let's just address this one, okay? Um, can we ask exit questions that encourage student reflection? I think it's not about the tool; it's about how to use it.
Yes, absolutely. It's a perfect tool for using to prompt student reflection, and I think we do have a set of student reflection questions actually in there for as templates. So you might want to look at some of the questions there, but it's a really quick and easy way of getting them to think about their learning, think about how they're progressing, maybe think about what they need more of next time in terms of themselves, what they need to change, but also what teaching strategies you might need to implement. So yes, definitely. And there are some really good sample questions under the student reflection category for questions.
Okay. Sir Cam, sorry, last question because this has something to do with accessibility. Because our teachers are also concerned about accessibility.
Yes.
Is
Is
there a
there
read
a
aloud feature?
is there a read aloud feature for the questions?
Yes,
That
that's a fantastic question as well, and something that is on the roadmap for next year. We don't have it currently, unfortunately, and accessibility is another one of those things that we're quite passionate about too. So I think early next year we'll definitely have some updates on read aloud features, so text to speech, but also speech to text, so that students can speak and it'll translate that into text in the input field. We're still working on it, but yeah, it's definitely things that are on our radar. And thank you
Yes.
for the question. It's great.
Something very exciting. So a lot more things to wait for and to look forward to for Ziplet. Okay, so we will be waiting for that, Sir Cam, and hopefully we get all of those features as soon as possible, because this will definitely increase the engagement and of course the use of this Ziplet for formative assessments. Okay.
Yes.
So teachers,
absolutely.
let's send our appreciation to Sir Cam in the chat, okay, just to thank him for spending his time and his willingness to share his expertise about Ziplet. But of course, okay, Sir Cam would also like to appreciate you by presenting this certificate of appreciation for your generous time and sharing for today. Teacher Pao?
Oh, thank
Right.
you.
So thank you so much, Sir Cameron Hodkinson, for sharing your expertise and knowledge in the recently concluded webinar entitled Quizzes and Ziplet Formative Assessments That Work, awarded today, October 28, 2021, here in the Philippines, to be signed by the administrators of Kaagapay, Sir Joseph Angelo M. Santos, myself, Sir Angelo B. Malyari, and of course, Sir Franco Nicolo Adun. Thank you
Thank you
so
again,
much.
once again,
That's fantastic. Thank
Sir
you so much.
Sir Cam. Before we let you go, may we ask no like a words of encouragement or words of for our teachers here in the Philippines.
Sure. Look, thank you so much for the certificate and for your time. I really appreciate it. And look, it's really exciting for me to see so many people engaged and online, at a session like this, talking about formative assessment and looking for ways to discover what your students need and how you can adapt your teaching practice to better help them succeed and be their best. So it's really exciting and encouraging for me to see that out in the education community, but also to see Ziplet be a part of that. Is a real reward. So thank you so much for your time and keep doing what you're doing, because this is how we really change the world and make it a fantastic place.
Thank you, Sir Cam.
Thank
And again,
you.
hopefully this will not be the last that we will see here in the community. And again, thank you for also developing Ziplet to help educators gather data and also perform formative assessments.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Goodbye now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Cam.
Okay, so Teacher Pao, okay? Ano na naman, nadagdag
Yes.
na naman sa ating teachers, no? Nadagdag na naman sa ating list, no? Sa ating
Pouch ni
playlist
Doreen.
of tools. Ang ganda
Oo.
niya. Very well designed, no, for collecting
Yes.
information tsaka data for Okay. I'd like to answer the question from the chat. This is from Teacher Geraldem. Bakit? Actually, kahit hindi po DepEd, no, meron talagang free
any email,
account
actually.
Yeah, any email. Okay? Doesn't need to be your DepEd account, could be your personal Google account, as long as it's a your an email. Okay, you can actually register and use Ziplet. Yeah, just fine. Okay, so go ahead and try that out. Okay, just go to ziplet.com, or you have the mobile application, okay, for Ziplet as well. Actually, yung isa rin na nagustuhan ko, Teacher Pao, na meron siyang
Yes,
mobile
it's
application.
available.
So,
Yes.
nakita ko, feeling ko parang habang nasa video conference yung mga bata, pwede silang, kung may second device, no? Pero kung naka-mobile phone, pwede rin sila sa mobile phone nilang magsagot sa nila, okay? Sa kanilang formative assessment. Of course, Teacher Pao, gati patagalin. Let's now move to our next session, which is on none other than on quizzes. Okay, so ito gamit na natin, Teacher Pao, no? Pero I think gugulatin pa rin tayo. Gugulatin pa rin tayo ng ating bagong-bago, no? Fresh na fresh lang. Ngayon lang siya makakapasok sa community natin. Okay, hindi pa siya masyadong kilala na of course, na kilala, but I still would like to introduce formally, baka mapagalitan niya ako kapag hindi ko binasa yung napakahaba niya. 10-page bio note. Bio note yung Teacher Pao. Yes, oo. Actually, tinipid na niya yan. Sinummarize na niya, kaya lang it's really hard to compress everything. Yes. So let us introduce our speaker for second session. Sir Alwin S. Reclosado is a mathematics teacher in Xavier School. He's a technology integrator in the classroom and also advocates for the appropriate use of technology in the teaching and learning process. He is an EdPuzzle ambassador in the Philippines, Quizziz certified super trainer, Wakelet ambassador, Google certified educator level 1, K Academy verified educator, Kahoot certified mentor and coach, Quizziz game changer, Quizziz recognized community professional development presenter, and Explain Everything explainer level 1. Through the various technological tools he employs in the classroom, he aims to transform technology into technology. Hiningal ako doon, Teacher Pao. Sa dami ng ano, no?
Grabe
Oo.
yun.
Tandaan po natin, Teacher Pao, no? Hindi lang po siya quizzes trainer. Quizzes super trainer.
Super.
Ibang level
Yun
po
na
yan.
nga.
Okay? Ibang level yan. Okay? That's on top of being a trainer.
Oo.
Welcome to our stream, Sir Sir Alwin. Okay? Fresh
Hello po.
Grabe
from Brunei.
yun.
Okay, kakagaling
Yes.
lang po ni Sir Alwin sa Brunei. Yes, oo, nagbigay siya ng talk sa isang school, sa series of schools no sa Brunei na sharing all of these wonderful tools. Good afternoon, Sir Alwin.
Good afternoon, Sir Franco. Good afternoon, Miss Pao. Good afternoon po, teachers. And thank you for having me. Yes, it's my first time.
Bago ang lahat,
Ano?
batiin
Yeah.
natin
First
siya,
time.
no, ng happy
Ng
birthday.
belated happy birthday. Happy
Belated
20th birthday po,
birthday.
no?
Ang
Kaka
taray
20 lang po ni
nun.
oo. Kakadibo
At
lang ni
20, no,
magdidibo pa
super
lang.
ambassador na siya.
Yes,
At
oo.
20, super ambassador.
Baka yung after
Grabe.
nito is ultra super mega trainer na siya ng quizzes.
Grabe
Abangan
yun.
natin po yan. Anyway, teacher, Sir Alwin, teachers na baka nagugulat lang kayo. Siyempre, super friends po namin Sir Alwin, kaya very yung
Yes.
conversation. Anyway, Sir Alwin, give us an overview, a briefing of what you will be discussing for today about quizzes.
Quizzes.
Yes, Sir Franco. So for today, since last time, nagbigay na po tayo ng basic kung paano gamitin ang quizzes, kung paano gumawa ng mga questions sa quizzes. Ngayon naman, magpo-focus tayo sa tips and tricks kung paano natin mas magagamit ang quizzes at magpo-focus tayo ano-ano yung mga iba't ibang apps na pwede nating i-smash with quizzes. So, let us maximize quizzes at yung basic account ng quizzes ang ating gagamitin, hindi po yung paid or super account. So for this, teachers, yun po, mas palalaguin natin ang ating pagkakilala sa quizzes through app smashing.
Okay.
Nice.
Sir Alwin, para lang po may heads up. Meron po ba tayong pa-quizzes mamaya?
Wala muna, Sir Franco.
Wala naman, okay. Kasi kinakabahan yung mga teachers natin. Kasi nagpa-quizzes si Sir Alwin, may math question, medyo dinugo ang ating mga teachers. No? Medyo nagulat sila. So, heads up natin, si Teacher Rose Malen, hindi pa daw siya makamove on sa quiz yesterday. Okay? So, wala pong quizzes ngayon. So, safe po tayo teachers, no? We're good to go for this afternoon, okay? So, Sir Alwin, the floor is yours now. Teachers, enjoy the session. Sir Alwin, good luck. Okay, we'll be at the chat if you need anything for this session. Okay. Enjoy po.
So, hello teachers. Once again, this is on Technology, on using quizzes. And this time, what we will be doing is that we will be having a level up. So when we say level up, what are the different things that we can do with quizzes aside from the questions that we usually do? Because one of the things that we have to consider, or usually what we consider or ask ourselves, what can quizzes do? Maliban sa questions na ginagawa natin or ginagamit natin, maliban sa true or false, ano pa. Pero for quizzes, ang gusto nito is to challenge us, to ask, what can quizzes not do? Meron pa bang hindi kayang gawin ang quizzes? So alamin natin ito, teachers, and this is all the things that we have to do. But before that, allow me to show you once again my all-time bragging rights. So this is until March because wala pa po yung update nito. So for quizzes, I have made 16 quizzes, and it was answered, the questions answered billion of times by different students and played million of times by different students around the world already. And for me, it is a way to help other teachers and students as well to focus or to be more engaged in their discussions. And for today, we will be focusing on app smashing. What is app smashing? App smashing, according to Mr. Greg Kulowich, App smashing as the process of using multiple apps in conjunction with one another to complete a final task or project. And app smashing is a term that was just coined in 2013. To put it simply, we can say that app smashing is a way of using technology to bring your classroom to life. Now, when we talk about app smashing for today, what we will be using and what I will be discussing and showing to you teachers is to app smash all of these different apps with quizzes. Edpuzzle, my favorite, and Wakelet, and then Shepherd Software, PowerPoint, Canva, um, Google Slides, and WordWall. So yesterday, yung mga kasama ko po namin ni Sir Franco sa Edpuzzle Pilipinas, pinakita ko po ito at sinabi ko na ipapakita ko sa inyo paano ko ginawa ito. So this is an example of app smashing. So just to give a brief background, that when I was invited, gaya po ng sinabi kanina ni Sir Franco, I was invited in a school in Brunei for me to talk about three apps, for me to talk about Wakelet, Edpuzzle, and Quizzes. And last week, our topic is on Wakelet. Pero ang gamit po nila, Microsoft Teams. Ako naman, wala pa po ako masyadong experience sa Microsoft Teams, kaya hindi ako confident na basta lang mag-discuss. So what I did, para mas maintindihan ng mga teachers, gumawa ako ng Edpuzzle video kung saan dinidiscuss ang integration ng Wakelet at Microsoft Teams. At the same time, para ma-experience na din ng mga teachers ano ang experience ng mga students sa paggamit ng Edpuzzle. So this was delivered in the live mode. And then, towards the end, they went on how meron ako nilagay na note dito, and when they click that after watching the video, they will be taken to Wakelet. So Wakelet, makikita natin dito yung dalawang platforms. So Wakelet and Edpuzzle, nilagay ko po dito yung certification nila, certification guides. So certification with mula sa paggawa ng account, and then how to be Wakelet certified. And then paggawa ng account din sa Edpuzzle, nilagay ko, merong link dito. Tapos yung tatlong main links na pwedeng gamitin as an Edpuzzle Educator Level 1, Educator Level 2, at Edpuzzle Coach. Then, nilagay ko din po, tinanay kong i-smash ito kung paano na, kung pwede. So it is a way for me to explore and fusing together these three different apps that I represent in the Philippines, if they will blend together. So yes, it is working, and I will be showing you later how to work on that. So kapag naglaro po tayo ng quizzes, you will see this, and the students will be taken to this to the app in Edpuzzle. So one-stop shop, nasa quizzes po lahat yung ating gagamitin, at we don't need a paid account for this. So yes, so once again, last time as well, I ended with this for our training, and I think this is one of the best things that I did with my students using quizzes. Aside from me giving them the quizzes, they also shared some questions, at binigay ko na po ito nung nakaraan. So meron kaming student ngayon sa dito sa at this moment ni Sir Franco, and I believe that he can validate this. I hope you remember what we did here, Code M.
I will show you one feature of quizzes, which is not usually explored by other quizzes makers. And this time, this is the student-driven quiz maker. So we will be smashing two different tools, your Google Forms and quizzes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to send a Google form to our students. And the form that I have here is, first, for example, we ask our students to review. So as they review or research on a certain topic, then as they do that, they can ask one question here. Then you ask your students to make different options. So teachers, this is a multiple choice question and with 4 options. Then from these different options, please see to it that your students will give one correct answer. And you ask them how long should your classmates answer your question. And the time that we have here, these are in seconds. So 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and so on. Once we have that, we can check the responses of our students. And what we're going to do is to click so that we can view the responses in sheets. So I have done this already. So here are the questions that I have generated from my students. You see here timestamp. And for the second column, that will be the email addresses of the students. So what we need is to copy from C, D, E, F, columns. I'm referring to the columns until I. Then copy and make second sheet. And then once you are done, you download Microsoft Excel. So once we are done with downloading the file, let's go to Quizziz. In Quizziz, let's click create a quiz. For example, our lesson is on prime numbers, highest common factor, and least common multiple. Mathematics, click next. And then you see here, teachers, the different options, but I'd like you to scroll down and take a look at here, import questions from a spreadsheet. Click this. Now, you drag and drop. So I have here the student-driven file that I downloaded a while ago. I'll just drop it there. Let's wait for it to load. Now we have done this already. The next thing that we're going to do is to click save. It may just take a little long, teachers, because Quizziz is doing the job for us already. Now, teachers, take a look. There we have it. These are the questions that our students made. And we already have 30 questions from our students. The next thing that we're going to do is we can either save this already, or we can publish. Click publish. So you are going to select grades. So for example, this is from 4th grade until 8th grade, and click save. There we have it. We now have 35 questions from the questions of our students.
So that's it, teachers. We ended with that last time, but now let me present to you some other things or more tips and tricks using quizzes. So this time, what I'd like you to take a look is on what are the kinds of questions that we make, or what are the question types that we have in line with the use of quizzes. And let us try and explore what are the other things that we can do so that we can support and help students There are instances that they could be bored with the types of questions that we give already. So let's take a look at this. This time, teachers, I will be smashing quizzes and word wall. So WordWall is also a gamification app or a platform wherein we can have different types of activities with our students. So this time to help quizzes or support quizzes or have different types of questions in quizzes, let's use WordWall.
If you notice, what's missing in the question types in quizzes is matching type. We have an answer to that. So let's go to word wall. And in word wall, I have this an activity. So addition without regrouping. So I just searched this in the community. Then I found this already. And then I saw to it that it is in matching type or match up rather. So the next thing that we're going to do is to click share. Then set assignment. So we don't have any problem with what we have here. Then we can start. Just click start. And then copy. So we have the link already. Then let's go back to lesson editor. And click embed web page once again. Then add link. Paste. Then click save. So when your students are in this link already, they can play with WordWall.
So teachers, that is an alternative. Yun po yung pwede nating gamitin. And yes, teachers, yung WordWall po, free account or we can have free account. At yung ginamit ko po na part dito sa quizzes ay free account, sa basic account din po or sa free account. So we can maximize or have alternatives to the things that we can give to our students. At mamaya, pagkatapos po ng presentation ko ng iba't ibang apps na pwede nating i-app smash with quizzes, babalikan po natin yung lahat ng ginawa ko dito para makita nyo yung interface niya sa quizzes. So this time, teachers, we will be using paano naman kung gusto nating gumawa ng quizzes pero nagloloko yung internet natin. So or wala tayong data kunwari or nagsisave tayo ng data. Ito naman yung alternative na gusto kong ibigay sa inyo. So gagamitin natin ang spreadsheet at kukunin muna natin yung spreadsheet bago tayo gumawa ng ating quiz questions. So teachers, ito po, it will come in handy. So I suggest, lalo na sa mga may problema ngayon sa data or kulang yung data natin kasi alam naman po natin yung nangyayari. So maaari po tayong magsimula ng ating quizzes through offline basta meron po tayo ng spreadsheet template mula sa quizzes.
What if you are planning to go on a vacation? So for example, and then while doing your vacation, you just would want to go and use quizzes, yet you don't have any internet or you don't want to bother yourselves with the internet. All you want is to use your laptop. So there's one thing that we can do here is that we can click import from spreadsheet. And then you will see here download template. Click this. Now, you have this template for you to work on your quizzes, even if you don't have any internet. So the thing that you're going to do is to add your questions here on the first column. On the second column, you choose what kind of question you're going to make. Then your different options. So option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. You don't have to fill out all of the options. So for multiple choice, for example, you have 4 options. For checkbox, 4 options. Fill in the blank. and then open-ended question. You don't have to add any of the options, and then poll. So what matters here is that for you to create a quiz while you are offline is that you follow the template that is given by Quizziz. And then once you are done, all you have to do is to save this as a spreadsheet, then go back to Quizziz, and then click import.
So yun teachers, kung paano po tayo mag-import, gaya din po ng pag-import natin kanina ng student-driven questions. So kapag meron tayo nitong template, hindi natin kailangan gawin lahat sa quizzes yung ating mga questions. So pwedeng-pwede po natin gawin or paglaruan ng quizzes at yung iba't ibang activity nito, yung iba't ibang questions natin. Kunwari, meron ka ng questions from your previous activities at gusto mong gawing quizzes. At minsan, totoo na medyo kapag nag-lag tayo or nagka-problema tayo sa internet, mahihirapan tayo sa pag-ayos ng ating mga questions sa quizzes. So this one, makakatulong ito para makagawa na tayo ng mga questions at hindi na problema sa 1-2 oras tayong nakaharap sa quizzes natin, lalo na kapag naglalag yung internet. So yun po teachers, i-download natin yung template at wala po tayong kailangan baguhin sa template. Ayusin lamang po natin, i-type lamang po natin the usual na parang gumagawa tayo ng mga activities natin or questions para sa ating mga students. Next, teachers, ang gagawin po natin, magfo-focus tayo sa quizzes lesson. So sa quizzes lesson, ang sabi natin, this is an instructor-led experience where slides and multimedia are combined with quiz and poll questions. So usually, ang ginagawa ko po kapag gumagawa din ako ng quizzes, hindi lamang ako naglalagay ng mga questions. So naglalagay ako ng slides sa aking mga quizzes para mas magkaroon ako ng interaction sa aking mga students. So minsan, yung nakasanayan ko, di ba, sa pagtuturo, kunwari, nasa classroom, so after ko magturo ng isang slide, magtatanong ako sa mga students para meron kaming interaction at ito yung experience ko nung sa face-to-face. Pero minsan, pagdating naman sa online, medyo limited lang yung mga students na nakikipag-participate at minsan kailangan yung nating hanap or gumawa ng paraan para ma-maximize yung participation ng students. So minsan, once in a while, gumagawa ako ng lesson. So instead na PowerPoint or Keynote yung gagawin ko or Canva presentation, gagawa ako sa quizzes, tapos maglalagay ako ng mga questions pagkatapos ng ibang slides. So ang unang-una nating gagawin, teachers, for this, paano kung meron na akong PowerPoint presentation from the previous. So kunwari last school year, meron na tayong mga PowerPoint presentations at gusto nating ilipat sa quizzes. Kasi pwedeng-pwede naman gawin yon. Tanong lang, paano? So this time, ito ang tip and trick on how to app smash PowerPoint, G-slides, and quizzes.
What if we have a PowerPoint presentation and we would want to add this in quizzes? So how are we going to work on this? Is that go to your Google Slides and then click File. Then import slides. Click Upload. Then say for example, I will be looking for the file that I am going to use. It is already uploading. Let's just wait for a few minutes or a few seconds. Now my slides from PowerPoint presentation are now imported to slides. So the next thing that we're going to do is to select what we want. So just click the slides that you want to add. For example, I want to end here. Then click Import Slides. So there we have it. We already have the slides that we had from PowerPoint presentation. Then the next thing that we're going to do, let's say, for example, this is on volume lesson 1. The next thing that we're going to do is to click File. Then scroll down, click Publish to Web. Then click Publish. Click OK. And then click Embed. So in the embed code, you have here the embed code. What you're going to do, teachers, is to copy before the quotation, after the quotation, it will start with HTTPS, and then it will end with 3000. So once again, HTTPS until 3000. So just copy that part and then go to quizzes. So just click create, then lesson. So I will name this as KTS demo, professional growth, instructional technology, then click next. Then click add slide, then click embed web page. Then all we have to do is to paste and then click save. There we have it. We already have from PowerPoint to Google Slides, from Google Slides embedded now in Quizziz.
So after yung presentation natin doon, teachers, kunwari ano pong pwede natin gawin, is to follow up with different questions. So para makita natin kung nakinig talaga sa atin yung mga students natin, or we can get maximum participation and maximum engagement from our students. So balikan ko lang, teachers, ano ba yung kukunin natin doon? So all we have to do is to copy the embed code, at sa ating embed code, meron po tayo dito, naka-highlight dito, from HTTPS hanggang 3000. So pag kinuha natin yon, ito po yung kailangan lang natin para may i-integrate ang ating Google Slides sa Quizziz. So pwede nyo pong screenshot ito or pwede nyo balikan. Mula HTTPS hanggang 3000, ito po yung trick na pwede natin gamitin para i-embed natin ang G-Slides at Quizziz. Ito, teachers. Next. May tanong si Ma'am Mary Joy. Available po ba ang lesson sa free account? Yes po, teacher. Kasama, available po ang lesson sa free account. Next, teachers. Yung last time nung nandito ako sa KTS, nung nag-discuss ako ng Edpuzzle, ang kasama ko noon yung nag-discuss naman ng Canva. This time, paano natin i-app smash ang Canva at Quizziz? So, alam ko na marami sa atin ang gumagawa at gumagamit ng Canva. Gusto natin yung effects ng Canva. Teachers, kunin po natin yon, ilipat lang natin sa Quizziz. Paano? Nandito na po.
Let's add Canva in our presentation in Quizziz. So all we have to do, once we are done editing our material in Canva, the next thing that we're going to do is to click the 3 dots and then click share link. Then copy. Once you are done copying with this, just hold on a bit, teachers. This is somewhat complicated. So the next thing that we are going to do is, let's say, So we post it in, just copy, and then after that we paste it in any relevant place wherein we can copy it right after. So what we need here is go to HTTPS until view. Then after that, just add embed and amp, and then we add semicolon meta. So let's say, for example, this is what we're going to add, this term. After copying that, then let's add a new slide, and let's click embed web page again. The next thing that we're going to do is to add the link. Make sure that there's no spaces. There, it's already working. Then click save. Now from Canva to Quizziz.
So teachers, yun po, compared to from Google Slides to Quizzes, dito sa Canva meron pang isang layer. Hindi naman siya ganun ka-complicated. So eto lang po yung unang-una yung gagawin natin. So hanggang mula HTTPS hanggang view question mark, yun lang po ang kailangan natin. Next, meron lang tayong idadagdag. Idagdag natin yung embed, ampersand, amp, tapos semicolon, meta. Pag meron na tayo nito, teachers, then ayun nga, pwede na nating ilagay ang Canva, yung ginawa natin at yung kasi mas maraming designs ngayon sa Canva at alam ko na this is one of the most in na presentation na ginagamit ng ating mga teachers. So from Canva, ilipat natin ang inyong mga na-design sa Canva, ilagay natin sa Quizzes. At yun nga, after nitong Canva presentation natin, magtanong tayo sa ating mga students through the different features na meron sa Quizzes. Next, teachers, ito po yung susunod. Medyo mahaba itong video na ito na prepare ko. This is parang paano tayo mag-develop ng isang lesson naman, kunwari, gamit ang iba't ibang apps. So kanina, medyo disconnected yung mga pinapakita ko. This time, what I want you to see is on how to develop your lesson using or integrating Wakelet, Shepherd Software. It is also another free app na pwede natin gamitin. At yung any resource from the web. And this time, I will be using Math is Fun. For me, so for example, ang dinevelop ko na lesson dito or dinedevelop kong lesson na nilagay ko sa Quizzes ay addition. So pwede siguro ito from kinder all the way to grade 2 or grade 3.
Now let's try Wakelet. So just type site and then say Wakelet addition. Then click the site. So we are now in a Wakelet collection. The next thing that we're going to do is to click share. In share, click embed, and then move to the left side, and you will see here the embed code. In the embed code, what you're going to do is to get from HTTPS until list. So copy. So copy this. After copying, Go back to lesson editor in Quizziz, and then add new slide, and then click embed. Add the link, and it's already saved in Quizziz. Now, what if I would want to give extra lesson or additional support to my students? And let's say, for example, I want to add an activity. So from Wakelet, let's search. Let's go Shepherd software. So teachers, Shepherd software is very important, or it's a dynamic activity for our students, especially for grade schoolers. So I'd like to look for addition. It is free. It's just that it has some ads once in a while. So what we're going to do is just to click this, copy, then go back to lesson editor and Quizziz, add new slide, just paste, then click save. There you have it. You have that activity already for your students. But before that, what if I would want to give another lecture? So for example, let's start with a lecture. So add slide, enter web page, and you don't want to make copy and paste a lot of materials from the website. So just go here. Then I'll type math is fun edition. Let's go to the website. Then what we're going to do is just to inspect if it is suitable for the age of our students, then copy. Then go back to lesson editor, add link, paste, save. So what do we have here? We are developing a lesson about addition for our, say, for example, kinder, grade 1, or grade 2 students. So from addition, then we have a Wakelet collection of videos, and then they can have an activity. So it doesn't always have to be in line with all the activities from Quizziz, but we can use and maximize our video lesson. Or we can use and maximize the use of lesson in Quizziz.
So there it is, teachers. So nakita po natin parang ang ginawa ko dito, I would want to show you na pwede tayong gumawa ng flow ng isang lesson. At kunwari, gusto nating ibigay ito as a homework sa ating mga students or for asynchronous task. Nakita nyo po dito, gumamit lang ako ng iba't ibang sites. Nilagay ko sa Quizziz para ito for me, napakaganda at napaka-importante kapag magbibigay tayo ng mga activities at hindi na natin, ayaw na nating magbigay ng maraming sites or link sa ating mga students. So ibigay mo lang yung code mo sa Quizziz or link ng Quizziz, then let Quizziz do the job. So Shepherd software, hindi lang po sa math ang mga activities dito. So teachers, go and explore Shepherd software. Marami pong ibang app, marami pong ibang 4 different subjects. Kung nakikita nyo yung sa screen ko ngayon, meron dito USA, Geography, Animals, Language, Science, Animals, Math, Preschool. So napakagandang, napaka-rich ng resources dito, especially for our grade schoolers. And then, di ba kadalasan po ang ginagawa natin, teachers, kapag meron tayong mga activities, or meron tayong nakitang magandang website ng mga references natin, we copy a lot of the text there, and then ilalagay natin sa ating PowerPoint. Kung meron naman, kung kaya naman sa Quizziz, we don't have to do that anymore. Ilagay lang natin sa Quizziz and let Quizziz do the job. So, ito lang po, balikan ko lang yung kailangan natin for weeklet. So, from HTTPS hanggang list. From HTTPS hanggang list, yun po yung gagamitin natin or ikakopy natin at ito yung ilalagay natin sa quizzes. Next, let's move on to one of my favorite apps, EdPuzzle. So how can we solve one problem in quizzes? So one thing that is one of the limitations in quizzes is that we cannot embed or we cannot add YouTube videos. So for YouTube videos, for quizzes, dapat ito po sa paid account or sa super account. So ito yun din yung isang limitation ng basic account sa quizzes. But with further exploration, we can also embed EdPuzzle videos to quizzes. Yes, di ba Sir Franco? Mabuhay, EdPuzzle Pilipinas.
I'm in the homepage of EdPuzzle, and let's look for a video. Let's take addition. And what if I want to use this one, addition with regrouping from Khan Academy? So now that I have that already, I can assign. Then say, I'll assign it to trainings. Now the video is already assigned. So the next thing that you are going to do is to click share assignment. You have here copy code. And what you need to copy here, just copy the code first. I have posted the code here. So what we're going to do is to copy from HTTPS until watch. So let's copy that. Then let's go back to the quizzes editor. And once again, just add, paste, click save. Now we see that addition with regrouping from Khan Academy, which is an EdPuzzle video lesson, is already in quizzes.
So teachers, yun po yung gagawin natin. So what should we do? So yung sa embed code sa EdPuzzle, i-highlight, naka-highlight din po. So this is, what we can do is to go and copy before the code again, HTTPS. This time, hanggang watch. Yun po ang i-copy natin at ilagay po natin sa web sa quizzes. So teachers, once again, ako po ang inyong super trainer dito sa Pilipinas, isa sa mga super trainers. At kung meron po kayong questions or clarification, sasagutin ko po mamaya. This time, babalikan po natin yung ating quizzes na ginawa kanina para makita natin yung interface. So, ito po yung ginawa ko kanina. So, teachers, dito po, just a disclaimer. So, wala pa akong ginawang different questions dito. So, ang meron lang dito yung mga different things na in-app-smash ko with quizzes. So, particularly for this demo training. So, yung una pong nilagay natin, word wall. So, sa word wall, kapag nandito na po yung mga students, type lang nila. So, this is a live activity with them. Click start. Medyo naglo-load lang po. Antayin lang po natin ng konti. So, merong options dito ang ating mga students. Pwede nilang gamitin or laruin within quizzes o pwede silang pumunta sa website or kopyahin yung link. Medyo masyadong natatagalan yata si ang word wall ngayon. So teachers, skip ko lang po muna to. Balikan ko na lang mamaya. Sana okay na siya mamaya. Hindi yata kaya today ni word wall. So this time, eto po, teachers. Di ba kapag nagpipresent tayo using Google Slides, nandito naman. Same lang naman yung feature kung ano na ginagawa natin. So it will move on. So maganda ito kapag magdi-discuss muna tayo ng mga different activities at hindi na tayo palipat-lipat. So ito, nasa iisang file na lang sa Quizziz. Tapos next, yung Canva. Ang kagandahan kapag ginamit natin mismo yung nai-embed natin sa Canva, lahat ng effects sumasama po. At kapag ine-edit natin ang ating activities dito, nag-e-edit pati sa Google Slides, kapag in-edit natin sa Google Slide, automatic na kung ano man yung nasa Google Slides na napalitan, mapapalitan din dito sa Quizziz. So if you can see this, this is the effect in Canva. So kapag lumipat siya, nilagay siya sa Quizziz, same effect. Wala pong hindi po tinatanggal ng integration ng Canva at Quizziz yung ating mga effects. Ito teachers, for example, meron tayong gustong ibigay na link sa ating students. So kapag nandito ang mga students, they can scroll. Sila mismo ang mag-i-scroll. They can work. So kung ano mismo yung makikita natin sa site, binigay natin sa students yung site. So hindi na sila kailangan pang pumunta sa ibang site, nandito na mismo sa Quizziz. Next. Ito naman, ito yung mga ibang videos, iba't ibang videos na galing sa Wakelet. Kunwari ito, ang difference lang naman nito, so this one will open a new tab. Pero, hindi ka na mamroblema kung masusundan pa ba ng students natin or yung iba't ibang link na gusto mo. So, para naka-organize, since things are organized already, mas madaling masundan ng mga estudyante yung gusto nating maging flow. Shepherd software. Kunwari, since this is for grade 1 or lower, so maglalaro sila mismo sa loob ng Quizziz. Click start. Ayun na po.
Oops!
So yun, ganun lang. So makikita natin dito yung kung ano-ano yung mga activities na gagawin natin. That is with Shepherd software. Sa Edpuzzle, eto din, since we were able to link it with Quizziz, ang gagawin lang dito, we will be opening it in new tab para pumunta ang mga students at panoorin ang video nito sa other tab. So, yun yung kainaman naman ng ating ginagawa because what we want, and if we go back to the definition of app smashing, is that these different apps working together. So we have our goal, and if you notice yung progression din ng activity natin, so after ng mga bata na mag-aral ng basic addition, this time naman nilagay ko dito, addition with regrouping. So there is also a kind of progression. So we can have it, or we can talk about this, or we can give this to our students. Pwede asynchronous, and this could be, they can use it for recall activities. na yung mga materials na gusto nating ibigay sa mga students, they are all in one site. So ang ginawa po natin, pwede po nating gawin na one-stop shop na po sa Quizziz. So teachers, yun po ang mga ginagawa natin at pwede nating gawin with Quizziz. At sana meron po akong naitulong sa inyo or naituro, and you can, if you have questions or clarifications, then you can ask them now. So nanonood po ako nakikinig po ako dito sa chat, or nakikinig tuloy. Nagbabasa po ako ng chat. Kung meron kayong questions, clarifications, pwede na po nating sagutin.
Alvin, hindi makapagtanong yung teachers kasi na-shock, nagulat ng sobra dun sa ganda na. Ngayon, teachers, I think you know already why Sir Alwin is called a super trainer. Okay? I think Sir Alwin just simply
may
demonstrated
tanong.
how. Go ahead, Teacher Pao. How to be you po ba yung question na yan?
Oo. Hashtag how to be you po. Tsaka, Sir Alvin, natutulog ka pa ba? Baka naman sa panaginip, ina-up smash mo na lahat, no? Kasi parang, wow, lahat nakuha niya.
Isa kang ganda. Alam mo yung, yes, no? Sabi nga ni Teacher Elmar Moralde, overwhelmed ako. At Teacher Pao, no, yung app smashing ni Sir Alwin, again, no, yung sabi ko nga sa app smashing, hindi siya random, hindi siya like pilit na app smashing, no? It's a well thought of, well designed na app smashing, no, that actually works, no? Kasi ang ultimate purpose ng app smashing, kailangan ma-enhance yung tool. Kasi kapag nag-app smashing ka, tapos it becomes complicated or becomes complex, hindi na gamit ng estudyante, okay, fail yung app smashing na yun. Okay? Pero kitang-kita, sabi nga ni Teacher John Paul Laurio, Lodi ka, Sir Alwin, ang galing. Yan. No comment na raw po, how to be you po. Ang hirap. At mga teachers natin, sabi nila, promise, i-review ko to at i-replay ko to mamaya. Mukhang ako din, mapapa-replay at mapapa-review ng session na to, Sir Alwin. Ang galing, ang galing. Thank you so much for sharing that to us, Sir Alwin. And teachers, hindi naman ako nagsinungaling kanina nung sinabi kong gugulatin pa tayo ni Sir Alwin kasi mukhang akala natin alam na natin yung quizzes kasi ang tagal na nitong ginagamit for a long time, pero ngayon natin nalaman na wow, meron pala tayong something else beyond this, no? So maraming salamat. Teacher Pao?
Yeah. What I appreciate about what Sir Alwin shared is that Quizziz enters into the picture not as a totally new tool na kailangan mong aralin tapos independent siya of any tool, parang ganon. But Quizziz I can consider Quizziz as an enhancement kasi you can use your existing presentations tapos ikakopy mo siya doon na hindi, alam mo yun, meron ka ng panggagalingan. Minsan kasi yun yung mahirap pag gumagawa ka ng mga app na paano ko ba ito sisimulan? Di ba gano'n? Na parang, where to start, how to start, uulitin ko ba? Lalo na kung math teacher ako, di ba? Parang ang hirap-hirap naman, gagawa na naman ako ng panibago, hirap-hirap na nga mag-type ng equation, di ba? Yung mga gano'n. but what you presented, parang totoo, pinadadali din niya yung buhay mo.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Sir Alwin.
Thank you. Maraming salamat, Sir Alwin. Sir Alwin, I'm looking at the chat right now. Wala pong questions. At ang question po nila ay talagang how to be you po. No? Paano nila po ginawa yung, yung ginawa nyo ngayon. Nakaka-amaze, Sir Alwin. Okay? So anyway, teachers, dahil wala naman na tayong questions. By the way, no, teachers, huwag po natin kakalimutan that Sir Alwin is a very accommodating person. You can message him via Facebook Messenger. Okay? So contact nyo lang po siya via Facebook. Okay? Kung kailangan nyo po ng tulong for any of the tools that was discussed. Okay? Kung hindi po ngayon, bukas, sa makalawa, or in other days, Sir Alwin will accommodate nyo. No? Anytime. Okay? Of course, siyempre, no, so hopefully, hindi po madaling araw, no, kasi mahirap mag-reply pag madaling araw. Okay?
Sir, and yan, so, question here that I caught before pa kanina. Good evening po, sir. Paano po yung teamwork sa quiz ng Quizziz? Possible po ba ito to use kahit magkakalayo ang students? Thanks po.
Yung sa teamwork po, meron po tayo dito pag ginamit natin yung team mode. So, ang gagawin natin dito, i-arrange natin yung mga students. So, parang nagko-compete ang mga students by team. So, yung score nila na accumulate. So, kunwari, team 1, so lahat ng scores ng mga kasama sa team 1, magsasama-sama. Yun lang naman yung difference. So, what you are getting in team mode is that yung scores ng mga students pinagsasama-sama at yun, yung the highest scorer ng team na yon, yun ang ng game na yon, yung yun ang mananalo. So by the way po pala our admins shout out ko lang daw ang ang mga kasama ko sa Quizziz Localization Initiative dito sa Pilipinas. So announcement na din, teacher, something to look forward to, particularly sa ating mga teachers sa Filipino at araling panlipunan. We are done with the testing phase of the localization of quizzes. So ang susunod po nating aabangan, makikita na po natin ang bandila ng Pilipinas, one of the options that we will be choosing from, and the Filipino language. At shout out po sa aking mga kasama na teachers, si Sir Jeff, si Sir Gab, si Sir GJ at si Ma'am Laika. Kami po yung inyong team na sinubukan. We did our best to translate, pero yun po yung ginamit namin dito in the context of quizzes at in the Philippine context. So yun, but a disclaimer already, this is a work in progress, and according to our head in Southeast Asia, we can never launch the quizzes in Filipino kung 100% yung ita-target namin. So it is a work in progress, paulit-ulit for revision. So kung meron po kayong makita or whatnot, inform us, and we will keep on editing, and we will keep on working para mag-improve. So far, our target was 80% ng 80% ng translation, and I think we were able to work on that. And kung nakita nyo din po kanina sa aking part ng presentation, Filipino na yung ginamit ko doon. So nakita po natin na yes, sa susunod, mga baka next month, makikita natin at magagamit na natin ang quizzes in Filipino.
Of course,
Yun
no,
talaga yung
congratulations. No?
pinakamagaling.
Oo. Yes, pride talaga yan ng Pilipinas,
Yes.
no? At ano yan, talagang pinagtrabaho natin. Of course, para mas ma-contextualize natin dito sa Pilipinas, no, yung tool natin na yan. Okay? So again, teachers, maraming salamat. Sir Alwin, thank you so much for all the things that you're doing, no? And of course, their contribution in the improvement, no? And of course, these localization projects that you're doing for these EdTech tools. Okay? And of course, just like always, we'd like to show our appreciation to Sir Alwin, okay, by presenting this certificate of appreciation. Parang pang 100 na po ni Sir Alwin to, no? From KTS. Teacher Pao, would you be kind enough to read our citation?
Hindi ako magsasama mag-present ng Certificate of Appreciation. No? Sa susunod, Sir Alvin, na punta mo dito, aaralin ko to ng Kapampangan. No? For sharing his knowledge and expertise in the recently concluded webinar entitled Quizziz and Ziplet, Formative Assessments That Work. No? So, thank you so much, Sir Alvin. You are really very much appreciated. Primarily, of course, of the administrators, no, Sir Franco, myself, Sir Jello, Sir Jambi, but more so the teachers, no, they really are appreciative of everything you do. Pag tinignan mo dito, superb, no? Yung mga superlatives, no, ilabas nyo na dyan, teachers. Sa appreciation natin kay Sir Alwin. Kasi lahat ng mga nagawa na ninyo, ibabalik nyo lang yan, pero nasa quizzes na, diba? So, sobrang thank you talaga, Sir Alwin. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Alwin. Maraming salamat. Kay, Sir Alwin, may nagpapa-shoutout yata sa atin sa audience. Yung estudyante yata natin to. It's a shoutout to...
Shoutout code M. I cannot say your name in public.
Bawal. Baka maano tayo. Data privacy, no? Basta shoutout sa aming estudyante na nanonood ngayon. Natutuwa siya kasi teacher niya kami pareho no, sa math at saka sa social science. Okay? So maraming salamat again, teacher Sir Alwin. Maybe we would like to ask you a short message for our teachers, okay? As we continue with this technology integration in the classroom.
Yes, Sir Franco, thank you very much. So yun po, unang-una, teachers, before po natin simulan ang pag-integrate natin sa classes, siguraduhin po natin na alam din ng mga students natin kung ano muli yung technology na ginagamit natin at kung paano ito magagamit sa klase. So, wag po natin silang biglayin, eto yung quizzes link, maglaro kayo. So, parang iwasan po natin yung mga ganun kasi kailangan guided din ang ating mga students. So, kahit na sabihin natin na dapat alam nyo na to, dapat ito na yon. So, i-explain muna natin sa kanila, ipakita natin sa kanila kung paano nila mas magagamit at mas maiintindihan yung lesson na ginagamit na ito gusto nating matutunan nila. Hindi lamang sa quizzes kundi pati sa iba't ibang apps. So yun po, teachers. So kailangan din tayo ng mga students natin pagdating sa guidance sa technology. Kahit sabihin nating sila yung mas alam na nila supposedly kesa sa atin. Pero pag educational technology, since we are the ones who are integrating this different apps sa klase natin, so dapat i-guide natin yung mga students para ma-maximize natin yung effect at yung target natin na engagement with our students. Kaya teachers, yon mag-apps mas tayo with Quizziz.
Yes, I think solved din, Sir Alwin. Bili na namin. Kanina pa. solve na kayo. Maraming salamat, Sir Alwin. Teachers,
Thank you.
although you have been showing appreciation to Sir Alwin, let's keep pouring our thanks, our gratitude, ating pasasalamat kay Sir Alwin for all his works in the community. Okay. Maraming salamat, Sir Alwin. Okay.
Thank you po. Thank you, teachers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yun.
Hindi po ako ang next speaker, teachers.
Oo, ikaw talaga yan.
Hindi ko po kaya yung ganung level ng hindi ko po kaya yung ganung level ng na smashing, no. Anyway, speaking of which, no, sa Teacher Pa, we'd like to invite our teachers, okay, for the last installment of our October series, okay, that will be on
Saturday.
Pakita ko lang. Siyempre, hindi ko pala pinapakita, no? EdTech Tools Blitz, life-changing EdTech tools, no? So, yan naman po, teachers, hindi po yan in-depth, hindi comprehensive coverage ng mga tools. We'll just expose you to as many tools as we can within 2 hours. Okay? So, abangan nyo po yung napakadaming mga tools na i-cover po dyan, no? Para lang po ma-introduce tayo at makilala natin, no? Baka pwede rin i-explore yung mga tools na yan. Okay? We're looking at least siguro mga 20 to 25 tools yung i-exhibit po natin, no, yan sa session na yan. Okay, so abangan natin, teachers, no. So magugulat po tayo at mas marami po tayong matututunan just to end, no, our October series with a bang. Of course, okay, hindi ko lang po na mapakita yung poster ngayon, but we're also inviting you to our November series kasi nakakasa na rin po ang ating November series that will cover na 21st century and post-pandemic education. Yes, syempre advanced mag-isip tayo, teacher Pauno, sa kaagapay teacher support, no. Nakaabang na tayo kagad dun sa post-pandemic natin. Okay? Yes. Agad-agad, Sir Jeffrey, no. November series na kagad. Okay? Hindi na tayo magpapahinga kasi pahinga po tayo ng December, teachers. Yun ang reason nun. Kaya pinak na namin sa November lahat ng mga sessions natin, okay? Because we'll be taking our rest on December, no, para po makapagpahinga tayo and we can celebrate the season of giving kasi Christmas party po yun. Yes, Teacher Pao. By the way, teachers, acquired na. Meron na tayong 30,000 pesos budget na for our Christmas party sa December. So wag po kayong mawawala para maging bahagi po kayo ng 30,000 pesos na na Christmas party, no. At Teacher Pao, secret muna, no, para lang muna sa ating 183 live viewers ngayon kasi mukhang hindi lang 30,000. So, I will not say muna kung magkano, but mukhang hindi lang 30. Oo, mukhang hindi lang 30,000 ang ilalabas natin for the Christmas party. Okay? So, wag po kayo mawala sa December, okay? Yes,
Ah.
opo. Pamasko po. Yes, we will po. Magpapapasko po tayo on Sir Romel, no? On sa December po. Kaya wala tayong webinar doon sa December kasi dapat chill lang tayong lahat. Let's enjoy, okay? We'll have music, performances, and of course, prizes for the teachers. Okay? So teachers, ito na po ang ating evaluation link para po sa ating certificate. Okay? Please accomplish accordingly. Pakitry na rin po if mag-work or open yung link, no? Para po magawan ko ng paraan if it's not working. Okay? And that will be, I just recently delivered the certificates for the last 2 sessions. Okay? So dapat po natanggap natin yun. Okay? Kung hindi po, yan, pakicheck na lang po ang ating spam folder for it. Okay? Yan, matligayang Pasko. Okay. Yan. Teachers, yan, Teacher Cheryl Mabini, sis bago po tayo dito. The certificates will be sent via email based on your evaluation. That will be sent in 5 to 7 days. Sometimes earlier.
Sir Franco,
Ako,
may
blue
humihilig
shirt,
ng
okay
blue
na ako.
shirt na, okay na daw siya.
Nako, dahil sobrang friend ko to, isend mo na sa akin yung address, miss, papadala ko na mamaya.
Ayun, no? Dahil
Oo.
nauna siya.
Yan, best friend ko yan si Miss Rose Malin. No?
Oo naman.
Ever since. Okay. We haven't met personally, but she's been a good friend sa community.
Yan. Sobrang jam-packed. Galing talaga ni Sir Alvin kanina. And the
Oo,
Ziplet,
grabe,
that's really new. That's really new to me.
Oo. Yes.
Baka ma-up
Actually,
smash pa
yun
yun ni
nga.
Sir Alvin, Believe na ako
Oo
doon.
nga. Feeling ko nga,
Ziplet
pinag-isipan ng i-up smash ni Sir Alvin yung Ziplet tsaka Quizziz kanina. Muntik na niyang i-cover eh.
Actually, pwede yun, Sir Franco. Tapos ang title, Quizziz-plet.
Quiziplet ang tawag natin dyan.
Quizziz-plet, yan. Diba? Ay, nako.
Yun. So again, Teacher Pao, maraming salamat, no? And teachers, maraming salamat again for all your hard work. Okay? Maraming salamat for all the things that you do. Okay? While it's not easy, no, and it has been difficult so far, no, this pandemic school year and the second pandemic school year. Okay? Let's just stay steadfast. Okay? Magpakatatag po tayong lahat. Kaya hindi rin naman po kami bibitaw, no, as long as you are and of course sa lahat po ng ginagawa niyo. Okay? Maraming salamat. Teacher Pao?
Thank you so much for always joining us at Huwag din niyo pong kakalimutang magpahinga, no? And I know it's almost dinner time. So, happy eating everyone.
Happy dinner,
Bye.
teachers. Ingat po. Salamat. See you on Saturday po.